We come to you each and every Thursday. What's wrong with me today? I am sorry. Each and every Tuesday. Let me get this thing together, folks. Oh, I'm thinking it's Thursday, it's Tuesday, but anyway, back to the show. We have a special guest show on tonight, but we come to you each and every Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, with topics that may interest you. We talk about business, we talk about finance, we talk about medicine, architecture, business of all sorts, art, entertainment. We cover the gamut. And welcome to the set. I see my dear sister, Tiffany Hilliard. Hey, Tiffany.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening.
And my dear brother, Robert Hicks. Hey, brother.
Hey, how you doing? And shout out to all the New York Knicks fans. Hey, we just want to invite you to the show if you're listening out there in New York, and we are worldwide. And welcome to episode number 66.
Episode number 66. Wow. Wow. This is absolutely incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I saw part of that, the highlights, because I was on air last night and I was shocked. New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics. Wow, at
Came
home.
back by 20 points down and won the game.
That is absolutely incredible. All you Knicks
That's New
fans out
York
there, I know you're
magic.
celebrating. And Boston Celtics fans, we have some tissues for you. Okay, let me stop
Like
rubbing it in.
Scarface said, no tears.
No tears. Oh, got a special guest on tonight, and that is Ms. Stephanie Banks, Long Island University graduate, a Civil Star member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated, benefits manager for Globe Life Liberty National Division, also served as a poll official for the last 20 years. Hey, welcome to the set, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. Now, I want to ask for you to maybe expand a little bit the introduction by telling us what is it that you actually do?
I'm a benefits manager, account manager, a customer service person. I just wear a lot of hats, but the bottom line is I partner with businesses, small and large, locally owned businesses, North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina. And I provide supplemental benefits to their employees. I do individual life insurance. Um, I just I'm just covering the whole life insurance gamut, and I love what I do. I love helping people. I love, more importantly, educating people about life insurance because people think they know because they're buying into myths, but they really don't know. And if you're not educated, then you don't know. So
You know, that's 100% correct. And I'm in that industry also. I'm licensed, been have going on 30 years now, life insurance, life and health. Uh, and people really don't understand the importance, or a lot of times people look at, especially life insurance, they look at it as taboo. But I want to correct the record there. And would you tell them that it's not taboo? It's something that's really necessary.
absolutely. I hear it all the time. Oh, I've had people say, "Oh, my family can just raise money amongst
Mm,
each other, set up a GoFundMe page." But my question always is, they're already grieving your loss. Why are you putting a financial burden on them when you don't have to?
right.
For a small policy, you can help them alleviate some of that financial burden.
Yeah, right. Why add to the pain? And you know, and like I said, they look at it as taboo, which is not. It's actually protection. You're protecting your family, and whether it's your immediate family, your extended family, because, like you said, to count on the family taking care of all the needs when you pass, or putting that extra burden on them, or even to say, oh, they can set up a GoFundMe. That is backwards thinking, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Now, what I also like to talk about, and you can probably expound on this as well, then we're going to toss it around the table. There are many types of insurance, and I love what you said about you educating people. A lot of people aren't educated on insurance. They say, "Oh, I have insurance." I say, "What kind do you have?" "Oh, I don't know."
Right. Right.
Really
That's
don't know.
exactly.
And there's so many different variables, folks. There's whole life, there's term, there's universal life, there's variable universal life, there's index life insurance. I mean, there's so many different things that I like to educate my clients as well. I run into so many people that have policies and they say, oh, my policy ran out and now the premiums are higher. I said, well, what kind did you have? Well, I don't know. Well, you had term insurance.
Right.
Is that what you want? And sometimes it's necessary when it comes to business. Like you say, you set up programs for businesses, supplemental programs for businesses. Tell us a little bit more about what that entails. When you start talking about supplemental insurance or supplemental products for your constituents or your customers, kind of break it down a little bit. What does that entail?
So supplemental benefits in the area that I work in just simply means that they are employee sponsored. They're for the employee. They're not employer sponsored. So these employees get to take these benefits with them. They're portable. And they get to take them and keep them at the same premium at the issue age that they signed up for them. So that's a win-win all the way.
That's absolutely, like you said. And the important thing is it doesn't stay with the employer. The employee can take it with them, which is and at a reduced rate because you're signing up so many people, you get a discounted rate versus doing it individually. Am I correct about that?
Correct. It's a
Absolutely.
group. The group is rated, not the individual. So it doesn't matter if you're a smoker. You could be a smoker. We don't ask those questions. And I tell people that the best way to obtain life insurance is through the job. When
Right.
you have a program available to you like that with supplemental benefits, that is the best way because
Well,
it's almost guaranteed issue.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me ask you this. I said I'm gonna toss it over to Tiffany, but I do have to ask you this. How small is it? Like say someone has a corporation and it only has maybe one individual or two individuals or three. How small of a group are you looking for or can you insure?
Well, if I'm going to partner with a business, they have to have at least 5 employees that work at least 28 hours a week.
Okay.
However, if I run across a business where they only have one, a sole proprietor, or 2 or 3, then I can pivot to individual business.
Okay. And it will still get the same discounted rate?
No, I didn't say that. but I will work with them, and because I try to work with people's budgets.
I understand.
Because if you can afford it, then quite naturally you're going to keep it.
Okay. Now I'm going to toss it over to Tiffany because I have several questions that I want to ask you, and then we'll go to Robert.
Hello, good evening. Nice to meet you. My question is, what is the type of insurance whereas, let's say you have a home and it's not paid for, what is the insurance called that you would need to get if something was to happen to you and that your house will be taken care of so that your family can continue living there?
Okay, that type of insurance is called a term mortgage decreasing, a term mortgage decreasing. That's a term insurance because it's going to decrease on the assumption that you're making your mortgage payments. So that's how it works. And so the whole idea is by the time the insured passes away, hopefully, there'll be a little bit left in the cash reserve for the person to collect, but then your mortgage is paid off.
Okay.
The spouse who's remaining does not have to worry about paying off the mortgage because that was the purpose of getting that decreasing mortgage protection.
What if the person, hypothetically, let's say they get the mortgage or they get the term mortgage decrease today, and let's say next year, this time, whatever happens, they end up passing away. Now we know that more than likely that term, their insurance policy has not been paid in full. Will they still be covered?
Okay, so all policies generally have a 2-year contestability period.
Mhm.
So if the insured passes away within that contestability period, what happens is the premiums are paid back to the beneficiary.
Mhm.
So the 2-year contestability period has to be in place in order for the face value to pay out totally.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Robert?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And um, one of the questions that I have is in regards to, you said there was a great opportunity to be able to pick up insurance based upon where a person is employed. And sometimes I've seen, and actually I've gone through some myself, where they offer a specific multiple based upon the salary. Is that something that still is in existence today, or what would be the reasonable amount that a person can say, all right, I make $50,000 a year and I want my insurance to have 5 times as much to be insured because of the sense of I have a family to take care of or any other needs. Just wanted to get your thoughts about that, Ms. Stephanie. Thank you.
So, employer insurance, employee sponsored insurance is always term. So, yeah, so let's put that out there. It's always term. And so that's why you can get large amounts for a small premium. It's very affordable. So, what's going to happen is when you leave that employer, then everything terminates. You don't take it with you anyway. So, it's just you have to actually expire on that job in order for any employer sponsored life insurance to be paid out to your family. So you can take out as much as you want to. You can ask for the maximum. I would definitely make sure I could afford that premium based on my salary. I wouldn't just take it just because it's available to take. But do keep in mind that it is term insurance and it's only going to pay out if you, as long as you're there on the job.
Absolutely. And that's actually good news to know, especially when people consider it's like, oh, I left my work maybe 2 months ago, but unfortunately, when the day of termination, basically, then the life insurance basically terminates, and then people have to take a look at other avenues.
Right.
So that's very good to know. I've also, because I remember in the past, my father, God rest his soul, he basically was working as an insurance salesperson. And sometimes he would get various different deals, and sometimes he wouldn't get anything at all. Is there kind of like a technique that like say for instance, that can get people to buy into insurance, or what would be the best technique for to sell or to promote life insurance?
So I either figure this way: either you are raised in a background where your family believed in insurance, so it's just ingrained in you and you know the importance of it, or you're from a background where nobody talked about insurance, nobody had it, and so therefore you have to really allow yourself to be educated on the different types of insurance. You have to ask yourself, why am I getting this? Why do I want this? What purpose do I want this to serve for my family? Because it's for your family, it's not for you. You're gone. Okay. So that's the number one key to it. You have to keep in mind that you're leaving your family with some level of financial peace and comfortability so that they can go ahead and take care of. It's not just your final expenses in your funeral, it's your debt, because you're responsible for that person's debt that they leave behind. And a lot of us don't realize that. We think that we can run away from it or hide from it. But no, if you're legally bounded to that person, you're that person's spouse, they're going to come for their money either way. And so you
or the individual themselves.
Exactly. So it's a way a person was trained up to think about life insurance, is what my experience has been. If you come from a background where mom started that Gerber life insurance for you, I call it the baby life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good life insurance. And what it does is by the time the child turns 18, that face amount doubles. It's not a bad deal. Okay.
Right.
If you've set up your child with life insurance and grandma set up her children with life insurance, and it's been a legacy, a thing to do in your family, then quite naturally, you're going to have the mindset as an adult to keep it going for yourself and your family. But if you didn't come from that background, then you have to re-educate. You have to educate yourself about it, realize the importance of it, and again, realize why it is necessary for you to do it. I say if you're not independently wealthy, if you can't write a check, if you can't pull out your checkbook and write a check out for $50,000, $100,000 and not blink an eye, you need life insurance.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true. But and also the idea of understanding, and people also, because the idea of some people have to be explained the concept of life insurance, and unfortunately, for people in our community, it's not really explained that way. And on basically, contrary to popular belief, GoFundMe is not an insurance policy.
No, I actually refer to it as begging. That's just the way I call it. You're begging for money when you don't have to. Anyone that is holding a job, that's working, that's budgeting, you have a budget, you budget for your lunch, you budget for going out, you budget for shopping. Why not budget to invest in your family? This is like an investment for your family.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be part of your financial portfolio, quite honestly. So you don't have to start out. I tell people you don't have to start out with a large policy. Start out somewhere and then build it up.
Mm-hmm.
And build it up as life changes, as you get that raise, as just things change for you. You start increasing your family. Now you have to rethink what you need to do to add pieces on to that financial puzzle.
You know, Stephanie, my business operates a little bit different than yours, and my start with I sell a wide range of different types of life insurance. My favorite is whole life. I love whole life. I also, universal life is great too. Index universal life is fine, and those are different types of insurance. And of course, with the type of insurance I sell, it's based on, it's age driven. As far as the premium is concerned, it's age driven. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. The older you are, the more expensive it becomes. Is that in your industry? Let's say someone works for a country. Do you guys don't even consider age, or do you?
Oh yes, it's still age specific as far as what kind of premium they're going to get. It's definitely age specific. The only difference is there are different features from the employer standpoint, getting it that way, that you're not going to find on the individual market.
I see. I see.
The tools that I have to offer the employee, I can't operate in that same vein with an individual client because there's different tools out there for them. So that's why I made the statement earlier that if you can take advantage of an employee benefits program that has supplemental benefits such as what I'm talking about, you really should take advantage of it because it's the best deal you're going to get for yourself and your family.
Agreed. Something else you said, which I know I'm repeating myself, and and by asking this. But one thing that I really like about what you said is educating your clients. And a lot of people, like you said, if you haven't come from a family that have that mindset that we need to protect ourselves, and the best way we can protect ourselves is through insurance. A lot of people really don't understand. I walked into a business one day, and I was talking to this young gentleman about life insurance. He said, "Oh, I don't need life insurance. I'm never going to die." I turned right around, and walked out. But the point, no, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
you can't feed into ignorance. You just have to let ignorance do what it does and keep it moving.
I turned around and walked out. I said, I could spend a lot of time here trying to educate, but I have to start from like ground zero because this guy obviously wasn't even interested in listening.
No.
But there's so many people that aren't educated when you hear, "Oh, no, I don't believe." I've heard people say, "I don't believe in insurance." Well, what is it not to believe in? Why don't you believe in insurance? And that's that mindset that we're talking about, that really they aren't educated. They don't care to be educated in a lot of cases. But some people aren't like that. Perhaps they did come from a family that doesn't have that background of believing in insurance. And some people will sit down and listen to you. Mm-hmm. And that's the opportunity for us as professionals to sit down and educate our clients. Because you have a lot of people, like I said before, that I ask them certain questions and I have insurance. And what kind do you have? And they say, "I don't know." And that is an opportunity for us and me, you and I, to sit down and, okay, let me explain to you your options, because there might be a better option out there for them.
Right.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. I have spoken to employees, sat down with employees who have multiple policies, and that's a good thing. There's no such thing as too many policies because you had a reason for why you got each one.
That's right.
So what I say to them, because I service my my partnerships every 6 months. So I tell them, when I come back in 6 months, I want you to bring in all of your policies, and I will go over them with you and tell you if you have a good deal or not. Mm-hmm. Because my goal is not to get you to switch. If you've got something good going on and you've invested in it for so many years, I want you to stay with that. Mm-hmm. It's to your advantage to stay with that, because you're going to lock in at whatever issue age you sign up for a new one.
That's right.
If I'm sitting down with you and I'm going over your policies and they're ironclad, they will work for you. They will cover you. What I'm looking for is you have one that will at least cover you for your life, because a lot of them cut you off at 79 and 80. And mm-hmm. we're living a lot longer than that.
That's right.
So you need to make sure that your whole life policy, we already know term is going to terminate, okay? 10, 20, 30 years, that's gone for you. But you need to make sure whatever you have in place, whole life, is going to cover you for life and not cut you off at age 79 or 80. So it's very important to me to make sure that anyone that sits down with me knows what they have and know that they are covered for life.
Absolutely. There's so many stories out there, and I used to carry these around on my computer so my potential clients could see it, and you could see stories how the spouse, whether it's man or woman, they're heartbroken because their loved ones have passed away. At the same time, they're appreciative that their spouse loved them enough to make sure that if something happened to them, that they will be taken care of. And this is something that I love sharing with our clients, to let them know, say, hey, yes, you may be fine today, but we never, and it doesn't matter what age, because, I had one client, well, it wasn't my client, but one of my agents. I was a partner with a major firm. I'm not going to tell the name because they don't pay any commercial. They have to, for us to drop commercials.
No use in endorsing people you don't have to, right?
That's exactly right. But the point is, I had an agent, and her one of her clients had a child that was 2 years old, 3 years old, and the baby almost drowned. And then eventually the baby passed away. So we really don't know. Young people, and especially at this time of year, prom is coming up, and you find so many tragedies happen during prom season where the kids go out and just have a great time. Then all of a sudden, something happens. So we never know what age that we're going to leave. So the best thing to do, and I'd like for you to elaborate on that, is that we don't know when, but we know it may happen, or it's going to happen at some point in time. Is this something that you share with your clients? Not to scare them, but to let them know that this is reality.
Right. So, yeah, I come from a realistic standpoint, not a morbid one, but a realistic one, because you and I both know that we're not here forever. Like, we all have our time when it's just, okay, it's over, lights out, we're gone. And that, like you said, pertains to all of us, regardless of your age. We see it with children every day, unfortunately. Children die, babies die, stillborn. Okay. This is life. This is a part of life that we have to be honest with ourselves about and ask ourselves, how prepared is your family that you're leaving behind, or whoever you're leaving behind? How prepared have you left that person to deal financially with your loss? They're already in emotional pain. Why add to that emotional pain? And like you said, I would feel so much gratitude to a spouse of mine if they left me with that financial peace to take care of things. That I'm not scrambling. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not calling here, there, and everywhere to see what I can do to make the ends meet.
Let me ask you this now: with your supplemental programs, is it all term insurance, or do you offer those other options that I spoke of earlier?
So with the supplemental programs that we offer to our partners, our business partners, and their employees, it is a group term life insurance, meaning it's a hybrid of whole life and term. So it's the affordability of term, but it's covering you for your lifetime.
That's pretty good, because most term policies, they would, like you say, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. If you're younger enough, then it'd be 30. My thing is that with what you're doing is entirely different than what I do, and in respect that for young people, I do my best to educate them on permanent insurance, meaning like whether it's an IUL, index universal life, or whether it's whole life, or whether it's universal life, and it could even be variable universal life, but those are permanent type policies. But in your situation, I can perfectly understand how that makes sense. And the greatest thing about what you say is that they can take it with them. Now, let's say they leave that job and they take that with them. Can they convert that into a permanent policy?
Well, it is a permanent policy.
Okay.
We just don't call it whole life because it's not accumulating cash value.
I understand. So this is interesting. So let's say they own this job for 10 years, but they take this part of your policy with them because they paid for it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It belongs to them, not the employer.
And it's not like regular term insurance where it would expire in 20 years. It will cover them until they pass. That is a good deal. Yes. That is a real good deal.
Covers them to age 100. And
wow. That is absolutely incredible.
Lifetime, yes.
I like that.
The premiums don't increase and the face amount doesn't decrease. Everything is level. It stays the same.
Wow. That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But like I said, I want the audience to really understand. Now, I did a show. We did a show called Money Talk, and we put it on the back burner just for a while. We're going to pick this up in a few months, and I would educate people on insurance products, even annuities and things of that nature. Okay, that's a whole different subject. And we're going to stick to what we're doing right now. But in your supplemental packages, what else besides life insurance? I think you mentioned it briefly, but I want to get some clarification for the audience. What's in that supplemental package? What does it entail?
Okay, in addition to the life insurance, it
Yes.
also covers cancer. We have cancer policies, we
Mm,
have accident policies, and we have critical illness policies.
okay.
And
Okay.
we have a cash only payout policy, which I call a one and done policy. So, for example, we have a vehicle called Cash Cancer. And what it does is it pays out anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 to the insured, depending on what premium they bought into. So, in the event of diagnosis of cancer, let's say they did the 50,000, that policy would pay out the 50,000 to them. It's supplemental benefit. It's not major medical, so it's going to go to them, their pocket. They do what they want with the money. It is
Okay.
tax free. They're not paying taxes on it. Okay. And then that policy goes away. That's why I call it a one and done, because it's cashed out, paid that money out, and it's gone.
Okay.
But you have the money. Critical illness, our critical illness policy operates the same way. It's a
I
one
see.
and done. In the event of a heart attack, stroke, organ transplant, loss of eyesight, permanent loss of eyesight, it does the same thing. Pays out that one lump sum, it goes away, and it's a one and done.
Okay. Now, what about the rest of that policy?
Well, now,
The life
we
insurance
have a
policy. The
regular
life part of
cancer policy as well, in addition to the cash cancer. And what a lot of employees do, if they have concerns about cancer, they will take out both policies. They'll do a cash cancer for the lump sum payout, and then they'll do the cancer endurance policy, which is the policy that will see you through your needs with the cancer diagnosis.
it. Now, is it something that you can customize where you can say, okay, I want the life insurance, I want the critical illness part of it, and can you customize it that way instead of taking the entire package?
No, you don't have to take, it's a la carte. You don't have to take the entire package.
Okay, very good.
We assess your needs. So we're not going to allow an employee to just take something that they don't have a need for.
Okay.
And more
Now,
importantly, if their budget doesn't allow it. See, we're
Okay.
very budget conscious because, again, I made the statement earlier, people will keep what they can afford.
I understand. So let's say, for instance, they have the critical illness part of it, but they recover and they still work for the company, but the critical illness part goes away, but they keep the life part of it, the life insurance part of it, right?
So you're saying if the critical illness, if they had that heart attack or something they suffered from, that policy paid out, it goes away? Yes. They can't revisit it anymore.
They can't revisit that, but the life insurance part of it, does that stay?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, very good. Tiffany?
Okay, so I do have a couple of questions here. One, do you have anything particular pertaining to veterans? Do they have do you guys offer some sort of specialty package, or is it still all the same, like a la carte? Or because I know that with, I'm gonna say, certain funeral homes, they do offer like a free, if I'm not mistaken, like a free burial plot, and of course, the family gets the flag, why not? But as far as insurance policy, do you guys have anything for veterans?
Well, no, we don't single any one particular person out. We're just across the board for anyone that is interested in any of our products. What we do offer, though, we do have some flagship products that we offer that my company pays for. For instance, we do have an introductory offer where we give you $3,000 worth of accidental death policy and a discount card. So you would get that with no additional charge to you, in addition to taking out any of the other policies that we have. We also have a child safety kit that we offer to families. We have a memorial burial guide kit that we offer. And in that kit, it just shows you how to keep all of your financial paperwork in order, and just you're able to keep up with all of those things that you already have in place. Because the one thing that I found that people tend to do, especially if they're not organized, is they'll have paperwork over here, policy over here. Oh, I don't know where this other one is, but I know I have it. And when it's time to put their hands on it, they're scrambling because they don't know where they've put things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing I try to educate my clients on, is being organized, and just developing that folder or something separate with all of that financial stuff that you need. Your family needs to put their hands on right away, and everyone should know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's nice to have it, but if you don't tell your beneficiary that you have it, the insurance company won't know to contact you because they don't know that you passed away.
Right.
So it's very important to share that information with your significant other, anyone that's going to be involved with your final arrangements.
Gotcha. Okay, my other question is there a benefit to reaching out to you guys versus getting a policy directly with the funeral home?
Well, the funeral home, they have their set prices. Now, I don't know how they actually work, but I tell you this, you can get more information from an informed, experienced agent.
Yep.
Than you can in that instance with the funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some people out there that are just out to make money, and
That's
I'll
right.
just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
You know what I've learned with the funeral homes, they will sell burial policies, and they have someone, and a lot of times, because I knew someone that worked for them, and she wasn't a licensed agent. She wasn't licensed, but she was selling burial insurance. I don't know how they got around that, or how they did that. But maybe the funeral home itself had a license, and this person just solicited. I don't know, but that's strictly burial insurance. From my limited knowledge about that. So anyway, I agree with Stephanie wholeheartedly. Go to a licensed agent, someone that's going to inform you, someone who's going to ask you questions and find out exactly what you need, because it's not a one size fit all with insurance.
No.
Because all families' needs are different. And that's why the education part of it is so vitally important, to educate people on certain aspects of insurance. How does it work? How does it pay off? What's the benefits to me? And an experienced agent will ask questions that you need to know, but you may not know how to ask, or how to ask it, you see. So it's better to talk to a licensed agent about these various things. Now, I have another question, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you deal now? Can other than an employer, let's say, for instance, we have the Groove Swings family here. I mean, the Groove Swing Speaks show, where there are 5 or 6 of us that's on the panel. Can we, as a group, buy from you?
As long as you live in North Carolina, Virginia, or South Carolina, because that's where my license is.
Well, keep in mind, we don't get paid. We don't get paid here.
I live in Maryland, so it's just out of reach.
So, as a group, so if I understand correctly, as a group, because the panel has been together for how many episodes, Robert? 67?
66.
66. Okay. So as a group, we are here, and you're saying that as a group, you can't insure us if we wanted to do that, or did I mishear that?
I can only write policies for North Carolina, Virginia, or South Carolina, because that's where I have my licenses.
Yeah, well, most of us are in North Carolina and Virginia.
Okay, well, there you go.
Okay.
Yes, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh boy, we do have a couple of our panelists. That's one's in Texas and one in California, so they couldn't be included in
No,
that.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do nothing
Oh,
for you.
shucks. Okay.
I don't have a license for those states.
Okay, well, we have to talk because I was licensed in Texas, but I am licensed in California and Virginia. So I don't know whether that'll work out. I have no idea. But the group of us that's in Virginia and North Carolina, we can,
Yes.
yeah, that's interesting. I think we're going to talk about that. Perhaps some people in the group might be interested. So, and with an employer, everyone that, let's say you have a company and you've employed 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is not mandatory for all 10 to sign up, right?
No, absolutely not. The company, the company will see a tax break if one person signs up.
Okay.
But it is not mandatory. We're still going to enroll everybody in our 2 free benefits that my company pays for that we give you. But I guarantee more people than the owner thinks will sign up because we give that education.
Wow.
We give that education, and if they don't sign up the first time, when we come back that in that 6-month period, that mid-year period, oh, let me talk about that cancer policy that you told me about, because life happens.
Okay.
And so by the time we come back and visit again, something has happened to either them or someone they know. And so it's hitting home now. So now they want to take that issue seriously and they want to talk more about it. Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating stuff. Now, I recall a lot. I have clients that they're all over the board. And like I said, I mentioned, I do all types, including term. But I have sold group insurance before. I haven't done that in a while. But anyway, I think this is fascinating. And most agents that I know, they do care about what they're doing. But there are some out here and you have to be careful, not only in picking the right insurance, but picking that right agent. Some are in it for the money, and they won't inform you. So I would recommend, and I want you to comment on this too. If you have an agent or that comes into your home or your business and stuff like that, and the first thing they do is pull out an application without asking any questions, I think that is a red flag there.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to build a rapport because I look at the people who I write up policies for. I want to build a relationship with you to the point where you trust me. We have to develop that trust. And I have to trust you too. That trust works both ways. Mm-hmm. Because I have to trust that you're going to make these premium payments like you say you are. So the trust factor works both ways. And in order to have that, you have to build a rapport. The person has to see some sincerity and genuineness in you and what you love to do, and it has to show. Mm-hmm. And part of that evidence is in the way that you relate to your clients. I like calling them clients instead of customers because clients to me seems a little more personal. Customers just seem so vague and out there.
Absolutely. And as an agent, and you know this as well as I do, we can't assume that if we tell a client something or a prospect something that they really they understand. They understand, because people say, oh, yeah. And a lot of times, we have to check to make sure that they understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing wrong with saying, well, did you understand this part of it? Do you have any questions about this? Again, I had a situation, I believe it was week before last. And I talked to a prospect. She wasn't a client yet, but she will be because of this. She gave me some information about an agent that she had spoken to. Okay. And he had offered her something that, to me, out of my almost 30 years, it sounded outrageous. I said, whoa, you'll get that benefit? That is hard to believe. I said, do me a favor. Give me that agent's number,
Mhm.
okay? Because I really want to know more about this. Do you mind if I check? I said, now I'm not going to give you a name,
Mhm.
okay? But just and I'm not going to tell him who I am. But I'm just going to ask as someone who wants to be informed. And I called him up. It was quite cordial. And I asked him, well, did you tell the client, or I understand from a friend of mine that you offered a product and it has A, B, C, and D. I said, how does that work? He
Mhm.
said, well, he told me this. So I said, so she was telling me about certain guarantees that this offered. I said, is that it? He said, well, no, not exactly. And it was far different from what the client told me.
Mhm.
And one or two things happened. She didn't understand, or he purposefully misled her to get the sale.
Mhm.
Well, either which way, by her not understanding, she's not going to go with him now.
No.
Because she said, wait a minute, hold it. And no, I know that's what he told me. It was
Mhm.
this guarantee. I said, well, no. I said, the company that he wants to put you with, that is a good company. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a good company. But you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. This is exactly what you are getting. And I could break it down because I know the business, you see.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
well, you have to make sure that your client, because a lot of times when you sit down with them, and I'm sure you have also, they've also talked to some other representatives.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with someone saying to me, oh, okay, Stephanie, I gathered all the information that you gave me, but I want to shop around. Go ahead, do your due diligence.
Please do.
Hmm. But the important thing is, I want to know that you bought from somebody. If you don't get it from me, get some insurance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the
I've
end of
had
the
that.
day, that's what it boils down to for me. Get something. You don't
Get
have to
something
get it from me, but get something. And
and make.
hopefully what you have, you understand, like you said, you
Hmm.
understand what you have, you understand the coverage, you
Hmm.
understand all those parameters. People get the paperwork, they get this policy, and they either do one or two things. Oh, okay, this came, and they'll toss it to the side.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or they'll open it up and they might read the front part of it to make sure their name is right, the birthday is right, the social is all those identifying factors.
Hmm.
And then they toss it aside.
Hmm.
You have to, as tedious as it is, and it's not fun reading, it really isn't, because I have to condition myself to read through everything. And that's what this industry has taught me. I've been doing it for 6 years. Whenever I get any type of contract or paperwork, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to put on these readers, and I'm reading everything, even if I have to get a magnifying glass to read the fine print,
And
because
there's a
the
lot of.
fine print is the real truth.
That's right. And you and I both know there's a lot of fine print. Oh my
Yes.
God. And there's a lot of reading. I know I'm getting off subject for a little bit, but Stephanie, you know what I hate? I hate every 2 years when I have to do my continuing ed. Oh my God. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it because
Yes.
it's
You know
tedious.
what? I'm in that now. I have to finish mine before.
Have fun, my sister. I hate it. Oh my goodness. And there's so much when we have to do as agents. And you have to do this.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you'll lose your license. You'll
Oh,
lose your.
you lose your license if you don't do it. Every 2 years they're continuing it. I said, oh my God. So what I try to do every now and then, I would take maybe 3 hours here or 4 hours here
Mhm,
or another 5 hours here or whatever it is. And I
mhm,
had to do something I forgot. It was an annuity class. I mean, annuity uh, continuing ed, right?
mhm, mhm.
And it said 4 hour, you had a choice, 8 hour or 4 hours. So I said, shucks, I can kill two birds with one stone here. I need about 7 more hours to do. So why don't I take this 8 hour class? And I will cover it, right?
Mhm.
Wrong. I did the 8 hours, and it says, no, you needed to do the 4 hours. I had to go back and do the 4 hours in addition to that. The only difference is that I got 5 extra hours of credit that I can carry over. But the thing about it, I was really upset with myself because I tried to get by because I'm thinking, well, 8 hours, shucks, that's more than four, right? There's more information. So they have to give me credit for this. They said, no, you can get
You
credit
have to
for it.
follow instructions, young
You have
man.
to follow instructions.
They don't care about your
Indeed.
extracurricular thoughts.
Oh my goodness. I tried to be slick and it didn't work.
That's because all of this is basically, there's a lot of laws that are associated with this. One thing also is trying to find that maybe people might be interested in getting into this industry. What were I guess the steps in brief, what you had to do to become an agent, to become a insurance agent?
Well, I had to align myself with an agency because these are policies that you're writing for a company. So you are not acting on your own in that way. So you have to align yourself with an agency. And most agencies will either assist with the financial cost of the course and the testing, or they'll give you some kind of deal as far as how they assist people coming in to the business. But you have to align yourself with an agency.
Right.
It's just like real estate. You have to align yourself with a real estate company. Yeah.
And
Before you can branch out on your own, that's what you have to do.
Right. You can break out later on. Like for me, I'm independent now.
Right.
I'm independent, but I did start with another major firm, which I will not give any props to because they don't pay us an advertising fee either. But it was a major, and they paid for everything. They paid for my life and health, annuity licenses, a 31 for commodities, a Series 7 for a stockbroker. I don't trade stocks anymore because I don't want anybody knocking on my door, right? So I have safer products that I deal with I offer my clients. But anyway, the company paid for everything. They even paid for me to go to New York to train in the World Trade Center, which is no longer there. So that gives you an idea how long ago that was.
Right.
Yeah, but you have to align yourself with an agency. And but anyway, let's go to Tiffany. We got time flies on this program. Tiffany.
I'm good with the questions. I just want to say thank you for spending time with us and informing us of the policies and how they work. It has been very beneficial tonight, especially for me. So I want to say thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, good. I'm glad that you got something out of it, Tiffany.
Well, and it's Stephanie, we're going to bring you back and we're going to dig deeper at some point in time. I know Rock, and thanks to Rock also.
Yes, hey, Rock.
Our production manager. We call Rock because she brings up wonderful guests like you, and she lines it all up. She keeps a calendar, and also she's in the background working. And Rock, thank you so much for that. But we're going to bring you back because what I like to do is like you, I like to educate my clients and people in general. Not on that. And this is an idea, especially in our culture. We need more education about insurance and investments and things of that nature. We really do need that.
Yes.
So I want to bring you back, and we're going to go into this a little bit deeper, breaking down the different types of insurance, how they work, what the benefits are to you. So you'd be better informed, because people, if they're better informed, they're less fearful of making a decision.
Right.
Robert?
Right. Knowledge is power.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. And also, this is very informative tonight. Thank you very much, Stephanie, for being here today, because there are some of us out here who do have insurance policies, and maybe this show probably tweaked an interest in saying, maybe I need to calculate things a little bit differently. Maybe I need to add more. Maybe now I'm at the stage where, okay, I'm not thinking about children, but I'm thinking about grandchildren now.
Yes.
And Not only that, but also putting insurance policies for the grandchildren. I know that was something that certain families, when you talk to them, is that, oh, I have an insurance policy on my child, or my grandchild has something. That is basically preparing for the future, but also protecting them. Life
Yes.
insurance is all that is. It says life insurance is the one thing you can never get when you really need it.
You're 100% correct.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So the
And if
idea
you
is to
wait,
get
yeah,
that.
if you wait too late and you develop all these chronic conditions, that's when it really gets challenging.
It sure does. Now, with you, I want some clarification. I'd like to have some clarification on this. Now, with you, let's say you sign up a group like us, or you sign up a company. You don't go into or ask questions about any pre-existing conditions, or do you? Or,
Well, I make sure that they don't exist, because if they do, then I need to put you in the right policy, because we do
Mm,
have policies to address that.
okay, okay, okay,
But our
okay,
basic group term is pretty much for someone who does not have a whole lot going on.
okay. Now, in that group, can you have one or two people that might have some pre-existing conditions, and then you have the, let's say, others that don't, and then, but as a group, you can still sign them up?
Well, as a group, yes, I can put you in a policy that's tailor made for your individual situation.
Mm-hmm.
The people who would be able to take advantage of the group term policy, meaning the group term 65 and the group term 100. And the group term 65 just simply means that when you reach your 65th birthday, then you don't make any more premium payments, but you're covered for life.
Sounds great. Sounds
Group
great.
term 100, you just keep making payments.
I understand. I understand.
Those policies are basically reserved for relatively healthy people.
Okay. And for if you listen to us right now, and for the people that's listening to us right now, and they work for a company, how would they get in contact with you?
Okay, so my email is should I put it in the chat for you?
You can, please.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat for you.
Please put that in the chat. And while you're doing that, I just want to share with the audience, guys. Thank you so much. A lot of times we'll have, like I said, we have various guests on this program, and we cover everything, and we showcase the best our culture has to offer. Like I said, it can be in education, it can be in medicine, whether it's physical health, whether it's mental health, whatever it is. You might own a business. We give you ideas about that, or you might be a writer. That book might take the book off the shelf and publish it. We give you ideas about that. And then you take brothers like Tiffany. She is a film. Exactly what it is that you do, Tiffany, with your artistic business.
So I like to write movie scripts. So I got my degree in digital filmmaking, and I like to write stories, particularly movie scripts.
Okay. And then you take Robert, for instance. He has a very interesting, Robert deals with patents. Am I correct, Robert?
That's right. Mostly the patents and inventions, and also the idea of basically it's innovation. That's basically the idea is, as long as there's something that's out there that can be improved upon, or something that's new, you definitely should take the opportunity and protect the patents. Just like you protect the patent in life insurance, you're protecting your own life. So
Right.
that's basically the same thing.
Well, Stephanie, this has been outstanding. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your night or your evening and joining us on Groove Swing Speaks.
My pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we depart?
If you don't have life insurance, please explore your options and take care of yourself and your family. It's the best thing you can do for your loved ones.
Outstanding.